this video, we're going to take a look at some ways to get big ideas. Of course, big ideas, they're big. They come up very rarely, and it's not easy to get them. So it's not like you press A on your computer and B comes out, right? For different people, it's different. It's a creative process, but it's not only creative. It's a combination of things. So there's no clear formula. So I'm just going to give you a few tips that I think will kind of get you closer. And really, one of the big tips is, and I noticed this in my own practice, that the previous point on imagining yourself bigger, right? Instead of like imagining yourself as being scrappy and hardworking, right? These are all good things. But if you imagine yourself instead of that, in addition to that, if you imagine yourself as like, yeah, I do big things. I am a big person, right? If you just see yourself this way, actually, I noticed that I started having bigger vision. Like I started seeing things like bigger. My ideas, if they were just moving the needle a little bit, I wasn't excited about them, and I would kind of like put them to the side. But the ideas that were like big ideas, like I was like, wow, this is a big idea. This has potential, like a lot of potential. That I would start to be more interested in. So in my own, I sort of like my own way in which I vet my own business ideas, and which way in how I criticize and examine my own ideas that come to me. I started naturally and sometimes subconsciously gravitating towards really the bigger ones, right? And then around me, people were like, ooh, literally I was getting feedback like, oh, Alex, you're thinking bigger now. Like you're thinking big. And did I make a choice to think big? No. But I kind of just started believing in myself more. When I started believing in myself more, it like naturally started happening. And I only realized it after people started giving me this feedback. They're like, wow, I like how you think. You think big. You don't think like other people. And I'm like, really? I don't? Oh, I guess I don't. Right? It was really like that. And then I realized, oh, I don't. And now I'm on a different level, right? And that's what I want you guys to be as well. But I didn't start out that way. How did I start out? I started out working really hard. And that, I think, is something that set me apart from others is like I would work all the time. And I noticed that in the middle of working on whatever I was working on, even if that particular thing would fail, I would continuously work on it. And when I was in the middle of like working and making, going forward on some project or idea, what was happening is like I was getting ideas like from the inside, like I was in the belly of the beast in a way, right? I was getting ideas, not ideas that an outsider would get. Because, a person looking inside from the outside, they only see the surface. They don't quite get some of the nuances that are present in an industry, in a niche. The only people who understand the major nuances, the major pain points, and come up with the solutions of them are the ones who are already deep working on those things already, right? That's why they're very close to it. And that's what used to happen to me. I would get a lot of ideas because I was already working on stuff, right? And one great way is, of course, if you want to go big ideas, you need to solve problems that are big, right? It's hard to solve little problems. It happens. You can solve little problems as long as they affect many people, as long as the solution can be used by many people. There's a big market for it. A little change in something can be big, but you should also think like about larger problems in the world, because the larger problems in the world are usually the ones that are affecting many people. And one tip I'd like to give that I think really works well is whenever you do work on anything, there's this idea, and many of you may know this, Eric Ries, he's a very known guy in the business world, and he's got this idea of the lean startup. And one of the core principles of the lean startup is you work on something a little bit, you make a little bit of progress, and you don't continue working on it, but instead you show that progress to whoever would be using that thing. And you get feedback. And you use that feedback, maybe from multiple sources, to see, like, what did I just do? Did I build something people want? Did I build something people don't want? What happened? And if you do this continuously, right, you get the feedback, you change the product again, give it to people, it creates this loop of like constantly doing this, working on things, showing it to people, getting feedback, adopting the feedback, showing it to people, and loop all the time. And this is one of the most rapid ways to be at the same time working on something and digging deeper in it, and maybe getting new ideas for things. Because all that talking to people, all that work, all that synthesizing of their ideas and your ideas, that is, in my experience, that's what's given me a lot of new ideas just by doing this process and being in the middle of it. So these are some of the like more or less practical things that you can try to do to kind of try to emulate principle number 5 in our course.